Smartphones and Addiction by Julia Daniels, Internet Addictions. Hello, I am Julia Daniels. I am a student at Indian River State College. I have my AA in psychology and I am now pursuing my BS in human services. I am currently enrolled in Internet Addiction course. In this course, students examine the dynamics of internet addiction. Focus includes identifying the issues related to diagnosis and treatment of emerging problems. Various of internet addictions are examined through online gambling, online affairs, and pornography. This topic. Everyone has experienced excessive smartphone use in their lifetime. I experience excessive use every day. We all use our smartphones every day. One thing that has stood out to me is how much my family uses their smartphones, especially the younger generation in my family. I have 12 nieces and nephews. The youngest is 3 and the oldest is 14. I notice when we have family barbecues, I personally see all of them either on a smartphone, tablet, or watching TV. They become so glued to the devices, sometimes it is hard to get their attention. This is one of the reasons I took an interest in researching smartphones and addictions. Everyday smartphone use is becoming an addiction. It is becoming a problem for the world. This addiction causes a strain on people's lives and their relationships. A person can know they are spending too much time on their smartphone and cannot help it. This is how the addiction starts. Most people do not know how to create healthy boundaries with their smartphones. Smartphones are not only the thing that can become addictive, anything can be misused, such as TV, money, alcohol, pornography, internet gambling, etc. Misusing these things is often not a problem at first, but this eventually leads to addiction. Not being able to create boundaries or not knowing how to can lead to having unhealthy boundaries. Just because something provides a distraction from your life does not make it healthy. With smartphones use being misused every day, a new term for this has been created called nomophobia. Nomophobia is the fear of being without a mobile phone or access to it. People with nomophobia experience anxiety and stress when they are without access to their smartphones. Smartphones have advantages such as global communication, entertainment, and access to information and education. Phones were intended for positive outcomes, they also create negative ones. The negative outcomes of smartphones are cyberbullying, anxiety, loneliness, eating disorders, porn addiction, child pornography, violence, depression, social isolation, and the list goes on and on. One addiction I feel goes hand in hand with smartphone addiction is online/internet addiction. The reason is simple because everyone that uses their smartphone is either online or using the internet. Everyone uses smartphones, but the ones we must be extremely cautious with are the younger generation. This is where human services become important. When it comes to children or teens, smartphone addiction may have more negative outcomes than positive. Children and teens are most likely to be affected by cyberbullying, anxiety, loneliness, eating disorders, social isolation, and depression. Human Services perspective on children and teens' smartphone addiction is to focus on their mental health. An article I read about smartphones, social media use, and youth mental health speaks about the mental distress and treatment for mental health amongst youth with high smartphone use. In the article, it mentions how children are the main victims of smartphone use and the negative advantages it brings. 70% of youth are affected each year. Use a couple of models that can help with smartphone and addiction. I found that both of the models focus on teaching people their behavior and addiction patterns. By a person understanding their behavior patterns, they can acknowledge what needs to change. The CBT model, cognitive behavioral therapy model, is a therapy model that focuses on allowing individuals to understand their addictive feelings and actions, while also teaching them new coping styles and ways to prevent re-addicting. It is a treatment that treats a person's addictive behavior. The CBT model studies on an individual's dysfunctional thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Social identity model of de-individuation effects is a model that explains how being in a group affects your state of mind. Most children are in a group and they don't understand how that may reflect onto them how much they use their smartphones or want to be on their smartphones. It allows us to understand how being in a group can become so normal that you lose sense of identity and personal responsibility. I found a research study that researched the use of the CBT model. The use of smartphone creates a need to use smartphones every day. One thing I realized is that no matter how much children or adults use their smartphones, it is not always addictive. Addiction comes from not setting boundaries, not realizing your faults, and not being able to put down your phone. All types of resources that can help. These are a list of local and national resources in the community that I have listed that can help with smartphone addiction. The first one is small groups online. The second one is Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration in a crisis call or text 988. The third one is Omega Recovery. It's a phone addiction treatment and smartphone addiction rehab in Austin, Texas. Addiction Center. Call 870-515-8609. Smartphone addiction has become a national problem worldwide. The younger generation is the most affected. This is something that needs to be addressed, and the more treatments resources we have, the more it helps with the problem. This is something that needs to be addressed, and the more resources should be available worldwide. No matter who is affected or why, there needs to be resources that help worldwide in every state and every city. It should be addressed. Thank you for watching my presentation. Julia Daniels.